And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning into a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this afternoon. We have a magnificent guest with us today, none other than the incredible artist Yinde. He's going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration. First of all, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam. How are you, family?
I'm doing great. First of all, on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the People's Podcast. The first question that we have for you today, sir, is when did you realize that you had a love for music and that you were an artist?
Um, First of all, great question. Um, I think my love for music was always there. My father and mother always had music playing from Lauryn Hill and the Fugees, Common, KRS-One, Sade.
Okay, okay.
Um, I'm trying to think. New Edition, Boyz II Men, Houdini, J. Rue, The Damager, Outkast.
Mm.
Black Moon, Guy,
Okay,
Truth.
okay,
Like
okay.
it was a rotation of East Coast boom bap, Gangstar, um, but also of soul. Anita Baker, um, Luther Vandross. So music was always in circulation. Um, so that to answer that question, it's always been in existence for me. I just didn't know at that time that it would be something that I would pursue for myself.
Mm. Okay, okay. Yes, sir. And thank you to everyone who's showing love. Speaking of your parents, may we have your parents' names?
Yeah, Jason and Kadara Muhammad in Rochester, New York. Shout out to them. Also shout out to my siblings Nzinga, Naima, Imani, Isaiah, and Aziza.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, shout out.
Shout out to your family as well. Yes, I mean to your siblings as well. Now, um, so let's go to that. What was it like growing up in Rochester?
Um, Rochester is a 5.5 hour drive from New York City. So when I say Rochester, New York, some people think, oh, it's like a hop, skip, and a jump from Harlem. No, absolutely not. Right. I was like 45 minutes from Buffalo, 2 hours away from Canada. Um,
Mm,
so for me, New York City is downstate, Rochester is upstate. And so for me, growing up in Rochester, I grew up on the west side, 19th Ward, stand up, uh,
okay.
off of Brooks and Post Ave. Um, for me, it was normal. Like, of course, it wasn't a major city, um, but there was always something to do, even when I thought there was nothing to do.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
we active in the community, of course, being with the study group that we had at the time. I think we're a mosque now, if I'm not mistaken. But at the time, it was just a study group of like four families, five families that built the mosque.
mm,
you
mm.
know, and you know, we had such an intimate relationship with the brothers and sisters at the study group. It was like uncles and aunties, you know. Um, so it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Of course, you have your challenges when it comes to family. Of course, you have your ups and downs when it comes to your family, immediate or moms, right? Um, but that's kind of what comes with being a family. Sometimes you're gonna butt heads, sometimes you're not gonna agree on everything, but the focus and the goal isn't to agree on everything. It's whether or not we can move forward in unity, right? Um, and above all else, that was something that, you know, was definitely central growing up was a sense of love. And the love, in a sense, shielded me up until a certain age from the rest of reality. Like my idea of black people was, oh, their condition is just bad. They don't even know what they're doing.
Mm,
I don't
mm,
think that mentality or that deceptive intelligence had a conscience. I'm just thinking they be in mind control, really.
mm. Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think like it takes on and hold of a host and it acts and moves like how we act. I'm just thinking they just doing dumb stuff, right? until you experience the world and you're like, oh wait, no, these people, this is serious, right?
Mm, mm, mm.
Um, and so you move accordingly with that information how you will. But growing up, you know, through all the ups and downs, it was just love and love and abundance. And as black people, we gonna make the most out of the least,
Yes, sir.
always.
Absolutely. Okay, now I want to ask you, what advice would you give to people who are watching about pursuing their passion creatively? Because you growing up in a nation, me growing up in a nation, I'm a creative, so I like to act, dance, sing. It's just like this is what I do. This is
Yeah,
it's, but that wasn't what was presented to me or pushed. That was just something I had to like. My family had to kind of like my mom's had to say it's okay to do that.
yeah.
Acting. What advice would you give to those who want to contribute on the creative side?
Um, I mean, if you want to make a contribution, listen, I take cash out, Venmo, Zelle, EBT, hey, you know what I'm saying? No, but in terms of like your own passion and your own um path, even because passion can easily be manipulated. Um, I think actually and this is a completely different direction than where I was gonna take it. The Holy Quran does not speak about happiness.
Mm,
The Holy Quran speaks a lot about duty. I think even in myself, I've made the immature stance at times to chase happiness rather than fulfill my duty, right?
okay.
It's not necessarily that my art makes me happy, while it does, but my art is in direct correlation with my duty and purpose as a human being, right? It's in direct alignment with who I am as a person and what I'm put on this earth to do. The mission is going to stay the mission. At all times, we are striving to bring the 40 million to the Lamb of God at all times, right? But how does that align with who I am specifically? We always taught accept your own and be yourself. Well, how can I be myself if I won't even do the first part and accept my own?
Mm,
Your own self is a righteous Muslim, or what's a Muslim? One who submits his or her will to do the will of Allah. What is the will of Allah in your life?
mm, mm, mm.
Because his will is the standard and it looks the same, but it isn't the same, if that makes sense. His
Yeah.
will is the same. His pattern never deviates. But what his will for us, his calling on our lives is each different and uniquely owned by us, by you, by me. Because while he puts the same amount of himself in us, the product that is shown in each of us is different. The scripture talks about how Allah gave these individuals talents and they had to go and they had to multiply the talents. Some came back with fivefold, tenfold, and one didn't come back with any fruit. I'd rather be found going and trying to make something out of what was given to me than deny that because I was taught, oh, why you not out in the street with the final call? Or why you not da 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 da? There is multiple pieces to the mission, right? And for me and my calling, part of my calling is to resurrect the lamb in a different way, in a unique way to myself. That doesn't mean I put the paper down. That doesn't mean you put the headpiece down, sis. But it does mean you do what you know God is calling you to do and lean into it while still fulfilling your duty and your role as a Muslim, as a Christian, as a Jew, because it's this has no religious, you
That's
know what
it.
I'm saying? There are no bounds to this. Do you believe in the oneness of God? Do you believe in the truth of the scripture? Do you believe in the prophets of God? What are we talking about? And that's what peace is.
Excellent, excellent. Go ahead, Brother Yinde. Brother Adi on the source says, Assalamu alaikum, walaikum salam. Shout out from Be More. Number six, good information and inspiration. Thank you very much, Brother Adi on the source. Thank you, everyone who's watching, to our YouTube family as well. Brother Kente, Brother Musa, Sister Auntie, Sister Hope, Brother Daniel E. Shout out to everyone who, and the gentleman, everyone who's watching as well. Okay, now you spoke earlier of your parents
Mhm.
introducing music and how important that was to you. What is your favorite album of all time?
I don't have one. I don't have one. And it's not that there aren't so many that are great. It's just it's increasingly difficult the more you digest a thing to come up with the best of the thing, right? Like there's way too many factors, right? I can comment on some of my favorites.
Okay, let me hear some of your favorites.
Common, yeah, Common, the B album.
Okay, okay,
Um, Wyclef Preacher's Son,
okay.
The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Of course.
Uh, I really like Maxwell. Now is that album? I think it's called Now. The one with
Okay.
Lifetime on it.
Yeah.
Music
Can't go wrong with
Soul
that.
Child. I just want to sing.
Yeah.
Um, oh, uh, that's all I'm coming up with right now in terms of like the stuff I grew up on.
That's tight. Okay. Now I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you. So, out of the because you're an artist that raps and sings, um, are there any examples of those type of artists besides Lauryn Hill that you mentioned that inspire you to sing and rap?
Um, Besides Lauren, I feel like Lauren Hill is one of the most potent who did it.
Mm,
Um, in terms of hearing it, I appreciated Wyclef and what he could bring to the table in terms of
absolutely.
being able to rap and sing. Because I can't lie, he had that one song, Grateful. I'm grateful that I haven't been shot, stopped by the cops and they didn't find the Glock. WYCLEF. I'm grateful. Like he came through with some stuff.
Yeah.
Um, um, Kanye.
Of
I
course.
think I think Graduation was the album that I heard where when I heard that I was like, I think I want to try and do this. Like that was the seed. That was the seed. The seed was like, what? What? This is incredible. Um, it was Graduation and it was Thank Me Later by Drake.
Yeah, two great ones. Two great ones. You can't go wrong with those.
Because because karaoke was just diabolical. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Isn't it ironic that the girl I want to marry is a wedding planner and tells me my life is too much and then moves
Yeah.
to Atlanta? Like what? 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 Like that was incredible.
Okay. Shout out to all of those albums. Since Aisha says Maxwell, yeah, Brother Nelson Ramos, Assalamu alaikum, beloved people of God, walaikum salam. And since
Welcome
Aisha, I know you
salam.
like Maxwell. Okay. Yes, sir. So what is your one of your favorite memories of growing up in the nation?
There's so many. um, there's so many. From when I was younger, I can remember being younger, not fully conscious of myself, because we all have a period of time where from the time we're born to the time we have consciousness of ourselves, we're kind of just like, I can't really explain it outside of just like, you kind of just like free floating until it's like
Mhm.
boom, and now you're present and you're aware that, oh, this is happening, right?
Absolutely.
But I have snapshots and images before I was like fully aware of myself of just teaching.
Mm,
like
mm.
being a parrot as the minister taught us to be
Yeah, yeah.
of what I'd heard. Um, so that and like seeing people watching me and like bearing witness and like we having fish dinners at the study group. You know what I'm saying? So like it's like people is at work, people are frying fish, people are like all the types of stuff is going on. But like I remember seeing that and being like, oh, okay, this word has power,
Mm,
right? I could remember, you know, sisters put on a fashion show, but they drilled in their
mm.
garments
Yeah,
for the
yeah, yeah.
fashion show. And we got music in the background and we on at that time, I think we were on like Jefferson Ave,
Mm,
back in the city. And that's like one of the worst streets in Rochester, period.
mm,
And they did that in the parking lot. And it's crackheads walking by like, I know that's right. Like, bruh, it was incredible. It was incredible. Going over to some of my brother's house, and we were all homeschooled. Most of us were homeschooled. So like I would go over to their house and we would break bread together for lunch and we'd be in the books, we'd be in the teachings, we'd be doing our comprehensive curriculum. And then after we was all done, we playing 2K06. We playing Lord of the Rings, because it was community. Um, when we're taught it goes God, family, nation, like in my mind, that's what that means,
mm,
right? When we say Islam is a lifestyle, to me, that's what that means. It's not just I'll see you Sunday, I'll see you Wednesday, I'll see you Friday, I'll see you Saturday if you one of the sisters, I'll see you. Well, I can't say that because even the brothers be on post. So I'll see you Saturday or I'll see you Monday, right? Like it's not just that. It was like an everyday thing. I was Muslim 24/7.
mm,
I am a Muslim 24/7. You know what I'm saying? So those are my favorite memories where, you know, you ain't have to try to kick it. You just were,
mm,
right?
mm,
Your
mm,
own self is a righteous Muslim. We accepted each other for who we are as people and we existed as ourselves, but it was in a righteous manner, right? People coming to me asking, yo, like, I'm 6 years old. I'm not even in like, at this point, I'm on my own block. People
mm,
like say one thing here, like something about kids. I'd be like, kids are baby goats. Boom, get done. You know what I'm saying? My friends saying, oh shit, don't say that. You swearing. That's not good.
mm,
Like
mm,
but it's because all my life I've known nothing but the teachings. So my mind, because of that, was naturally sharpened and tuned a different way. Um, so those are to name a few. Those are some of my favorite memories.
absolutely. Beautiful. Brother Roosevelt, thank you. He says all praise due to Allah. Thank you for showing love, holding it down out of New Orleans. Always good when you tap in as well, sir. All right. My next question for you is um now what's upcoming? What's your upcoming project? Let's get into it.
Um, okay. Um, First of all, before I say this, shout out Shakeen Muhammad. Shout out Mike Shealy. Shout out Paulie. Shout out Trez. Uh, Say So Records. Um, Big Say So. But Shakeen Muhammad and Mike Shealy have a song out with Trez on the production, aka XO Productions, called Splash. It just released this past Friday, so
Mm,
check that out. Um, I am a part of Say So. Those are my brothers.
okay.
Um, and so I am working on a project. The title is drum roll. Da, 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 da. And so I filled my life with noise.
Mm,
It will be dropping in October. Um, Inshallah, 7 songs, a good body, solid body of work, and a project. And it actually came about because I was watching the Kirk Franklin interview on Breakfast Club,
mm,
and it was actually the saying that Kirk Franklin said. It's actually something he said.
Mm,
And in it, you know, he was talking about his life and how he grew up and how silence was something he hated because, excuse me, he was a foster child. He was raised by this older woman, and you know, he loved being around his peers naturally. So at school, he just loved the involvement and the engagement, and would be sad when school was over that he had to go back home and sit in silence all day. And it was actually Charlemagne who was like really talking to him and like really figuring out where he was coming from. And in response, Kirk Franklin nodded his head and said, "And so I filled my life with noise."
mm.
And that was the foundation, if you will, or the precipice for the project. Um, I have not dealt well with silence personally,
Mm, mm, mm.
but it is also a storyline of um, things that I've gone through, things that I've experienced, um, things that I've had to overcome uh, to get to where I am today. And so, yeah, October, October.
Yes, sir. We look forward to getting the project. What is it going to be streaming on? How can we
Everywhere you listen to music, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, YouTube, etc. Everywhere where you listen to music, it'll be.
and just type in Yinde and it's gonna come right up.
Yep, yep. And it's the E has the accent mark, like the check. It goes that way. It doesn't go the other way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. But yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, excellent. We're gonna make sure we support you. Uh, everybody's go. Do you have any other previous projects that we can support?
Yes. I have, I think three. One of them might be coming down soon.
Okay. Okay.
But right now I have the 19th, which was the first project that I did. Um, I have a project called Riot. So the 19th, I think one of the songs, the last song on that project, Elijah LaFleur is on from New World.
Okay.
Um, and then, well, New World at the time. Shout out New World though. Great group of individuals who, and I'm gonna say this because I don't think anyone has said this, and I'm gonna say it because I'm not too big and egotistical to say this. As it relates to brothers and sisters in music who come from the nation, who were born and raised in the nation, who are even around my age group, if it were not for New World crawled, and I say this like very intentionally, I don't mean crawled in the sense of their music wasn't good enough or isn't good enough, but they crawled so that a lot of us could fly. A lot of us could fly, right? Um, and those are my brothers. My freshman year of college, I went to Tuskegee University,
Okay.
and Emmanuel was going there still, so he was able to mentor me to some degree, right? Um, Arshad is like the big brother I never had. I talk
Yes,
to him
sir.
a lot. Like, like Samad gave me some mentorship and tutelage a little bit before going into Tuskegee. He gave me the groundwork of like, okay, this is the landscape you're walking into, just so you're aware. Like these are real men and real brothers to me. So when I say this, it's really coming from a place of love, but like they laid that blueprint. They did that hard work, that dirty work, that grimy work, so that we could benefit. And I'm not saying there weren't others who haven't laid some foundation because shout out Problem 13, right? Like there were people who laid the foundation, but they were key and are key to a lot of our success. So I just want to say that. But in any event, because some people they act like they just came here on the scene and there wasn't people who came before them. So we gotta pay homage. Um, but yes, yes. I don't even remember the question, but it's okay. That's
Yeah,
how I know it was on my spirit to let it.
absolutely. And make sure everyone who's watching, make sure you'll get the interviews that I did with, of course, the brother
Oh,
Arshad Khalil
yes,
and
I remember now. So yes, to answer that question, the 19th have Elijah LaFleur on it. On Riot, I have Brother Golden Child. Shout out, Brother Golden Child. He recently dropped a project. Shout out to him. And I have Shakeen, actually. And people don't know this, but I've actually like been a fan of Shakeen for like 10 years.
Okay, okay.
Like I've listened to some like nobody remembers Best Friend Freestyle, but I do. Nobody remembers Jungle Life EP. I do.
Mm, mm, mm,
No one remembers The Time EP. I do. Like I've listened to him for a long time. And to now be in the same collective with my brother is humbling. Um, and he has been very instrumental in making sure with this new music especially, um, that the sound and the quality is perfect. He's been teaching me about quality. He's been teaching me about how to even showing me how to record because I taught everything myself. I
mm,
recorded everything myself, all the way up to Vulnerable, which
mm,
is the project I dropped after Riot. Um, it's called Vulnerable, but when you see it, there are no vowels. That was intentional.
mm,
Um, but Vulnerable is the next project, and that features JNA, that features Lay, and that features Byrie, the Siren. Um, three incredible women, three incredible singers. Um, and then I think I put out a remix with my brother KT, the gangster rapper, um, for a song called Retrograde on that project, Vulnerable. Um, but yeah, those three projects I have out right now. I'm thinking of doing away with the 19th just because it's that old and like I want to start moving in a certain direction. And while I am appreciative of the start that I made with the music that I have, in order to reshift focus and in order to, sometimes you got to rebrand yourself. Sometimes you got to
absolutely.
um, cut certain things away. When you cooking, the flank of a steak, sometimes you got to trim the fat. It's all a part of a well balanced meal, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
I
Yes,
gotta,
sir.
I'm thinking of trimming the fat a little bit, but all praise is due to Allah that I still have, and Allah has still gifted me and granted me the ability to create and do it at a high level, and do it with brothers who really get it, do it with individuals who really have an ear and have a vision and have a purpose in it. Um, because that's what it's all about. You surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Um, and especially, I'm gonna keep mentioning Shakeen because that's really my brother. Like I know his children. Like they call me Uncle Yinde. Like
Okay,
it's
okay,
very serious.
okay, okay.
Um, you know, he's really been helpful in that. I'm very thankful to him and to Allah for him to be able to give me that and really show me and mentor me in such an impactful way. Um, to be able to continue to do it and do it at a high level.
Praise be to Allah. Excellent. Yes, sir. And thank you everyone who's watching. On that positive note, once again, let's make sure we support Yinde coming soon in October. So I fill my life with noise. We're gonna make sure we support it. Shakeen has been on the People's Podcast and Freestyle, as well as other artists you mentioned. So make sure we all get support them. If you ever come if you ever come to Atlanta again, let's make sure we do an in-person interview so we can do like a jam session. I think
Oh
that'll
yeah, for sure.
be,
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll even bring a set list. I'll be like, yep, I know exactly what songs we gonna play. Let's get mom. Shout out my brother Vincent, aka Alaz.
absolutely,
We
absolutely.
gonna we gonna get him. I need the whole band to come
Yeah,
through,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
do it
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And we gonna do it right. Absolutely, absolutely,
Listen,
absolutely.
yes, sir. Shout out to your parents for always being very kind and supportive of the People's Podcast, and shout out to your
Yes.
sisters as well. Rochester, keep holding it down, and shout out to Dallas. I mean, now that you're in Dallas, that's cool, man. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Dallas. Shout out to brother Shahid, aka Ruku.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Y'all got some music together? No, you haven't been in the studio
We
together?
are, we're supposed to be working on something. But I am tapped in with brother Jallo, who I believe is out in Oklahoma.
Okay, okay.
Brother Shakeen introduced us. He's actually going to be on the project. So,
Good, good, good.
it's we make strides, brother, by the grace of Allah.
All praise due to
By
Allah.
the grace of
Well,
Allah.
listen, the People's Podcast is your home, and we wish you nothing but success. May Allah
Thank
continue to
you.
bless you, brother. This
Praise
is
be
I,
to
I
Allah.
saw the work that you were doing on Instagram, and I was like, man, look, we gotta highlight this and make sure we just
Praise
tap
be
in and
to Allah.
keep showing love to everyone. This is
Yes, sir.
Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you all for watching.